During initial setup, you can configure a host name for your router. This is the name that appears in the exec prompt. The default host name for Cisco routers is simply router, and it's a good idea to change the name to something more specific. In addition, you can configure a description for each interface. Both the host name and the description help you identify the system you're working on. Use the hostname command in global configuration mode to change the host name for the router. We'll name this router Atlanta 1 because it's the first router in the Atlanta office. After changing the host name, notice that the prompt has changed. Instead of simply router, it now uses the host name we configured. Unlike the router itself, the router's interfaces do not have specific names that change the prompt. However, you can add a description to the configuration file that helps you identify the interface. In this case, we'll configure a description for the first serial interface. Remember that interfaces are numbered beginning with 0, so the first serial interface is 0, not 1. Notice that the prompt changes to show that we are now in interface configuration mode, but it does not tell us which interface we are configuring. This can be confusing when you configure interfaces. It's very important to remember which interface you're working with. Now we use the description command to add a text line describing which interface this is. In this case, it's the line from the Atlanta office to the New York branch, so we'll add an appropriate description. Notice that the prompt did not change at all. The description we typed appears in the configuration file, not in the exec interface. To display the interface description, we need to go back to privileged exec mode. Now we can use the Show Interfaces command to view the interface description. There's our new description. To save the changes, I'll use the Copy command to save the changes in the startup configuration file. To review, use the hostname command in global configuration mode to change the router's name. Use the description command to set a description for a specific interface. The hostname appears in the prompt on the screen, while the interface description appears in the configuration file.